for me that I find important is a private thing, but I never mentioned it. I never mentioned it before tonight. My friend Darren, a few of the lads would know. But anyway, each show season I nominate 8 boards for the YCC in Bradford. That's the hardest show to win now is Kilkenny SYC show. And we have only 400 boards, but the standard of the boards there would be far better than anywhere else in the world. But I nominate 4, the one to win, of course, is prestigious-wise, is YCC. 8 boards for Bradford and SYCC. And it's on those results of those 8 boards, I determine whether there's an improvement in the stud, a decline, or a status quo with a standard having the boards. Private thing to me, I don't mention to anyone. And I'd be ruthless in that. If I found, down on my points there, an added impetus. Irrespective of how many best of shows I have. If I have best of shows, that's grand, but it's not as important to me as the overall standard of my boards. Obviously, one of the most important things to know about boards is their feather. And there's guys in our hobby, and you might be talking about hurling the ditch. They don't have any concept of feather. So learn about feather. As a Yorkshire breeder, we always pair yellow to buff. But you must understand that there are a number of types of buff feathers. I call, to illustrate say, to some of the foreigners, I call a buff feather a cotton feather. And there are a number of types of buff feathers. And there's a number of types of yellow feathers. And I call the yellow feather silk. Now for the older member here, I'd say the best way to describe feather is in cotton and silk is that cotton, if I can remember, would be like a panty. And silk, if I can remember better, would be like a silk stocking. But I'm not too sure about that now. But anyway. And there's an intermediate type of feather as well. And it's hard to describe an intermediate type of feather. An intermediate type of feather is very, very valuable because, you have more options than the type of feather you pair it into. And it's intermediate to both yellow and buff. Anyway, you've got here 3/4 way there. Knowing feather and how to pair different types together hastens your journey to success. If you don't know feather, you won't succeed. Either budgies, Yorkshires, or Gloucesters. Never pair soft feather boards together, or indeed silky feather boards together. The former can produce lumps and have excess feathering, whereas the latter will produce snaky boards with finch-type head faces and they'll have no substance. Excuse me. Deciding on your pairings. This year, for me personally, I have a reduced stud after a hopeless bad, a terrible bad season, worst season in 60 years. I only bred 27 boards. So I'll only breed with 11 cocks and 23 hens this year. Every year after Christmas I list down all my stud book. If ever my stud book was found, I'd be ended up at St. Kansas Hospital. People say, that guy's mad. And I list down my yellow hens and my buff hens I intend keeping. Start for me. The most enjoyable process of pairing, I pair them on paper. And I changed that numerous times. And in the extreme, it didn't happen on. But I was often driving along in my working life, and I drive along on a distance, and I say, oh, jeez, no, I paired that cock to a different hen, and pull in the side of the road, write it down. Madness. Every year I pick out, this is important. This is only for me now, I don't know if anyone else does it. I pick out 6 hens, and I pick them out, they're key birds, alright, and they're based on a pedigree and what I reckon they can produce, special hens, right. Be like looking at a girl down the Mayfair, Charlie, years ago. And I pick out 6 pairs of rares for those. So the plan is really that I take 3 nests of eggs from those 6 hens. And I try and pair 2 or 3 different cocks. So that not only do I maximise the number I breed from them, I maximise my options for line breeding, my options for pairing the next year, because they're my foundation. It's not that about Yorkshire's are bad to rear, they're quite okay. In fact, it is that is that Yorkshire's reared under Yorkshire's are probably a bit stronger than the best of rears. I don't know why, but I think that's. This maximised my line breeding options and pairing the following year. Because yeah, I really do consider, not taking a bitty bread number, I really consider the hen to have the biggest influence on the size and quality of the offspring. No doubt. Decisions on pairings are based on the following: their visual suitability, the bloodline relation, their feather, and fixing special things and special features, so that you're putting you're fixing though you're doubling up on certain features. Regular, what relationships do I go on? I go grandfather to granddaughter, or grandniece, grandmother to grandson or grandnephew, half brother to half sister, where the sire, particularly where the sire is dominant sire. Never brother or sister. I know people have bred it, and you can get an exceptional bird, you get a mad bird, a freak. For years I've bred and showed boxer dogs. My claim to fame, by the way, is I'm el presidente of Kilkenny District Canine Club, and I speak at the Dog's Dinner every year. But anyway, and McCallum Sean was the previous one. But I've bred boxers and been to dogs as well. A friend of mine gave me some years ago a loan of the Boxing Society record book of all the CC winners. And typical, I went through it anyway, and I found that of the winning dogs that had 3 CCs or more between 1959 and 1985, I found that over 60% of the dogs that won more than 3 CCs, dogs or bitches, were bred from half brother, half sister. It's also a quoted fact that the best lions in the world, best specimens, are half brother, half sister. So does line breeding work? The second part is asked Gerard's advice. It sounds egoistic, but it's only to illustrate that for me, whatever I won, I wouldn't be tidy with birds, I wouldn't be the best keeper of birds, I certainly wouldn't have the cleanest board room, but whatever I won, line breeding. Line breeding. So without intending to be egoistic, I said there were 2 examples of how successful it was for me. All I can speak about me. In 2002, I set about revitalising the stud of my existing line. I used 3 particular cockers. 2002 variegated buff cock, he was best in Yorkshire, best to see. He was best at any show he's ever had. And he was also claimed many times as being the best ever. In 2002, also, the 3 cocks I used, that 2002 very good one, a teak buff cock, which is brother, and a 2001 green yellow cock, which was the second cousin to cock A and B. And the hens I chose were a 2001 Saddleback buff hen, second best in Bradford, white 2001. Green yellow cock, green yellow hen, best in YCC 2002. A clear yellow hen, and a night very good here. All the hens range between being a mother and aunt or cousin to the 4 cocks, the 3 cocks. And the result, it's all down to line breeding. In the 2015 breeding season, 15 out of 18 of my cocks in my stud are 83% whatever those 4 birds. 83% from those 8 birds, 7 birds. My hens, 81% of my hens are from those birds. 81%. So there's no coincidence to that. And it all brings me back to where I started. Like breeds like and bred from like. Your lines are right, your lines are pure, that's what happens. And the second part, I asked Jared about it sounds like earlier. Again, it's only to illustrate line breeding, it's not about me. The following show results were achieved only through line breeding. There would not be, no chance in heaven, snowball's chance in heaven, that I would achieve these if I wasn't line breeding. Well, I see the Premier Show, Bradford. Between 1987 and 2016, I had best 5 times, second best 6 times, third best 9 times, judges 7 times. SYCC Kilkenny, the best show. Best in show 28 times, or 34 times. SYC London, best in show 7 times, judged 7 times. 8 nominated boards in YCC between 2000 and 2016, 2002 and 2016. Most points 11 times, and the other 3 times I was judging. National exhibition, best Yorkshire 3 times, best Canary, the only Yorkshire ever to be best Canary once, and I judged it 3 times. And I finished it like breeds like, bred from like. Thank you. Did everyone clap?
Does anybody have any questions, maybe?
Olly, you were saying that
Yeah.
you very seldom brought in a new board. But when you bring in a new board that's related to your line, is it a hen or a cock you bring in?
Invariably you won't get the type of hen that you want, so it's often a cock.
So,
I'd be extra nice to a guy if he gave me a hen. I think it's fairly unique in the Yorkshire, in our club, that I'll give you an example. John is there. Last year I gave, or the year before, I gave a board to Willie Bryan in Waterford. And Willie is not just a good breeder, he's a lovely guy, he's a real hobbyist. And he is what the hobby is about. I gave him the board in good faith because he loved it, and it won in the class down here. My own feeling, it shouldn't have won the class, but it won the class. And I gave him that board, and the pleasure is given him is mirrored in the pleasure is given me, because I judged his boards. I judged in the northwest and Northern Ireland, and he had second or third best with a buff head. And his other boards were all placed, and they're all the boards, 14 boards he bred from the buff cock. Right? It's put them up there, right? But it's not just put them up there. It's about people, really. Hobbies are only about people, right? And he's an excitement going into the breeding season. He's a real competitor to me now. But in the second show in the North, the last show of our season in the North, he came to me and he made a little speech, and he said to me, Ollie, he said, I want you to do me a favour, he said. I said, sure, Willie. Albert said, he said, you won't want to do it as a mutual friend. I said, well, what's that, Willie? And he was kind of, he said, I want you to take the mark buff hen. And I have the mark, I don't normally do that, but the giving is often the best part. But for me, selfishly for me,